Lesson 41, Finding Rates of Change and Slope. A rate of change is a ratio that compares the change in one quantity with the change in another. And they give us the example of a speed of a car. Whenever you are riding with your family, your mom, your brother, your sister, whoever, and you're driving down the road, the car always tells you how fast you're going. This is a ratio that is a rate of change. Your car tells you how fast you're going in, whoops, I haven't changed to a pen yet. It tells you how fast you're going in, seriously, miles per hour. Okay, or you probably think of it as mph, but this is the ratio. So on your way to Clarksville, the speed limit is 60 miles per hour. That's the ratio. On example 1, it says the graph shows the relationship between the distance traveled and the time traveled of a car. Find the rate of change. Okay, so we want to know the rate of change from this point right here to this point right here. Well, I can look and see that we're talking about distance in miles and time in hours, so it would probably be a good idea for me to continue to use miles per hour. Okay, and from this point I'm at 60, and this point I'm at 20, so the difference there is going to be 60. And the time here is 1 hour, and the time here is 2 hours, so the difference there is going to be 2 minus 1, which is just 1, which gives us 60 miles per hour. Pretend like that's all one thing. The fees shown below are for canoe rentals. What is the rate of change for rental fees? Okay, so what we have is that for 3 hours it costs $22.15, 6 hours is $37.15, and 9 hours is $52.15. So what we're going to do is we're going to use two of these points to help us solve. And whenever we're finding a rate of change, we're also finding the slope. And I want you to know that the slope formula is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay? So whenever we have this, we have x and we have y. Okay? So we want to know dollars per hour. That's going to be the rate. So what I have is I have x1, y1, and I have x2, y2. So I'm going to use this information and plug it into my formula here. So m, or my rate of change, my slope, is equal to y sub 2, which is 37.15, minus y sub 1, okay, I'm done with this one, y sub 1, which is 22.15, I'm done with that one, over x sub 2, which is 6, minus x sub 1, which is 3. Well, when I subtract these things, 37.15 minus 22.15 is going to get me $15 over 3 hours, which will reduce, you can divide those, to $3, that's a 3, per 1 hour. So that is the rate of change. Okay, so for every additional hour, you're going to be charged $3 more. The slope of a line is a rate of change, the ratio of the vertical change or rise to the horizontal change or the run. We know that slope is always talked about as rise over run, which is why for our formula we have y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, because you know that when we look at a graph, the rise is the y, that's the vertical. Okay, this is the y, and the run is left to right, and that's our x. So that's where this is coming from. So it wants us to find the slope of these lines. And I have line A and line B. I'm going to help you find the slope of line A, and I want you to do the slope of line B on your own. So line A, I have two coordinates, one here and one here. This one is 0 and then up 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 0, 4. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. Okay. And we're going to use x sub 1, y sub 1. Remember, our coordinates are always x and y. And I have x sub 2, y sub 2. Okay, so my formula is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And what we're going to do is plug in. So y sub 2 is 0. That was this. Oops, that part. Minus y sub 1, which is 4. So I'm done with that one. Over x sub 2, which is 8. Minus x sub 1, which is 0. So what I end up with is 0 minus 4, which is negative 4. Over 8 minus 0, which is 8. Which reduces to a negative 1/2. Final answer. Horizontal and vertical lines. A horizontal line is y equals c, where c is a constant, and the slope is 0. And a vertical line is x equals c, where c is a constant, and the slope is undefined. Let me show you an example. If I have a graph, and on my graph, I want to know where y is equal to 2. Okay? This is y equals a constant. 2 is a constant. So we're going to go up 1, 2 on the y, because we all know that this is where y is equal to 2. But also, if I went right 1 up 2, y is equal to 2 there as well. I could go right 5 up 2. Y is still equal to 2 there. I could go left 3 up 2. Y is equal to 2 there. You'll see that I'm just dotting along here. This is going to be, pretend like it actually hits, my line for y equals 2. And I have a slope of 0 because it's not rising or falling at all. It's just staying that constant flat horizontal line. The same thing works for x equals, let's say, negative 3. If I have x equals negative 3, and I want to know where that is, from the origin, you would tell me to go left 3. So 1, 2, 3. So this is my point for x equals 3. But the same thing works for this, only vertically, because I can go negative 3, and I can move up 1. My ordered pair here is still negative 3, 1. So x is still equal to negative 3. So what I end up with is this vertical line whenever I have x equals. Number 4, it says determine whether each pair of points lies on a horizontal or a vertical line, then find the slope. So we're going to start doing this just by finding the slope. So I have x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So I have y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. It's very important that you go ahead and just label these so you don't make a mistake. Okay, so y sub 2 is 1 minus y sub 1, which is 1, over x sub 2, which is 8, minus x sub 1, which is 5. So I have 1 minus 1, which is 0, over 3, and 0 over 3 is just 0. So what kind of a line has a slope of 0? I hope that you remember that was a horizontal line. Okay. Now on B, I'm going to prove to you why a vertical line has an undefined slope. I have my x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and I'm going to plug them into my equation. I'm not going to rewrite it. So I have 9 minus y sub 1, excuse me, so 1 over 3 minus 3. So 9 minus 1 is 8 over 3 minus 3 is 0. Well, 8 over 0, if you have your calculator on you, please punch that in and see what it tells you. It's going to give you an error. Okay? Because we don't know how to divide by 0, so this is an undefined slope, and that means that this one is the vertical line. The graph and the table show the relationship between the distance and time of a car. Find the slope and what does it mean. So I'm going to show you this information, and I want for you to use 2 points and find the slope and tell what it means on your own paper. I hope you have a good night and that you've taken good notes. I'll see you in class tomorrow.